and welcome to the Thank You for Knitting podcast. My name is Alana and I'm a knitwear designer and yarn shop owner living in Auckland, New Zealand. Today is episode 11. Now, it is sooner than I normally would do another episode because episode 10 was not that long ago. But there's just a lot going on. We just had Woolfest, which is a big deal. We have just started. Today is the first day of a big knit along that I'm running with several other podcasters. It's the first day of June, and yeah, it just feels like a lot's going on. So I wanted to jump in and do another episode. So it might be shorter than normal because I don't have a ton of stuff to show, but I do have some things to show. I have finished a couple of projects since the last episode, the ones that were for Woolfest. And I have, I think, one new cast on, something like that. I'll show you what I bought at Woolfest, which is not much. And I will talk about the knit along that we are starting today. So that is the plan. So first of all, what I'm wearing. This is my sweater, which does not have a name. It doesn't have a pattern to it at all. I talked about it before on the podcast, but I've never worn it or anything, nor have I gotten nice photos yet. I will try to do that soon. But this is a very special sweater to me because it's the first garment I ever made in my handspun yarn. So you may have heard me talk about it before, but if you haven't, this is a combination of fibers from Bonnie of Union Fibre and from Harriet, Haunui, which is a breed of sheep that you can only get in New Zealand, and it's some of the most beautiful fiber I have ever touched, spun, worn, all of that. Basically, I spun the Haunui, I spun the fiber from Bonnie, then I applied them together to make a 2-ply yarn, which is about a DK weight, I would say. And you guys, it's so soft, but it's also so woolly at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just feels so sheepy and woolly in the best way, but really soft. And it's honestly super warm. Anyway, this is my handspun sweater. I made up the pattern as I went along. I did that because I just felt like it was my first time making a handspun sweater, and it just seemed like it would be more special if it was completely made up. I don't know, because then I made the yarn and I made the pattern, and I don't know. I did run out of my original handspun yarn, which is that all of the main yarn, and that's why at the cuffs and at the hem there is a different purplish looking handspun. However, I really like how it turned out. I think it really matches, and this yarn was also something I spun from Bonnie's fiber as well, so it really matches quite nicely. You can sort of see the colors. I'll try to stand a little bit closer just so you can see. There's a lot of nuance in color when it comes to the handspun, and I just think it's so pretty. I did a little bit of texture in the yoke, which was just created with knits and purls, and yeah, yoke style increases. I have a double folded sort of mock neckline, which is one of my favorite necklines, and that's it. That's my jumper that I'm wearing, my handspun sweater. So, items that I have finished since the last episode are, first and foremost, this is the Holger Sweater by Petite Knit. This is the front. This is the back. I really like where the stripes meet on that sort of shoulder seam. I think it's so pretty. And yeah, this is, like I said, a pattern by Petite Knit. I knit this as a sample for Woolfest and just a sample to have in the shop in general because this is the woolly 8-ply yarn. It's 100% New Zealand wool. It's a really lovely range of pure non-superwash wool. And I think it has a great color range, so that's part of why I picked this pattern, because you can put together 6 different colors, and I really like these colors together. It's a great little pattern as well. I did the smallest size, which is 1 to 2 year old, and yeah, I'll put details in my Ravelry page about the names of the colors, because there's 6 different colors, so I don't need to sort of list them all off now. But I did tubular edgings. And I will say, I've said before, oh, I like the Italian bind off. I don't like to do the tubular setup rows, but I might be changing my tune a little bit. I think it depends on the yarn, because in this one I did have the two setup rounds before the bind off, and I think it looks super good. So I'm kind of back on the tubular bind off train, which I've been off of for a while, but anyways, yeah, this is the Holger sweater. Not too much to say about it. It was an easy knit, a quick knit. It's DK weight yarn. It's a 4mm needle, but otherwise, yeah, super cute shop sample. That's it. My next finished item, which I am calling finished, even though I may modify it later, but for now I am calling it finished, is my Maggie cardigan. So I talked about this last time. I wish you could feel how soft it is. It is so soft. This yarn is soft to begin with, but once you block it, the fibers, they like fluff out. I don't know if you can see the sort of halo of fluff. It's just the most delightful 100% cashmere. It's, yeah, I should have said, but it's Cardiff Cashmere Classic. The color is called Cacao, number 643. I also did the tubular bind-offs on all of this because I think a classy cashmere cardigan deserves a beautiful bind-off. And this is the whole thing. I might insert a few photos of me wearing it at Woolfest because I have a couple of photos from that day so you can see what it looks like on. And I do like it short-sleeved. I think it's quite nice. I might wear it like this for a little while before I decide for sure if I want to make the sleeves long, but I'm 90% sure I will make them long. And it's mainly because when you're wearing this on your body, it feels almost criminal to not have the cashmere on your arm. Like as I was wearing it, I just wanted more softness on my arm. So, and I do have extra yarn. So I believe I will add sleeves at some point. In the meantime, I'm calling it finished. I knit the size small, and I have 10 balls of Cardiff. I think I've only used less than 8 so far, which is how much you're supposed to use for the short sleeve version, but I will crack into those other ones if I do lengthen the sleeves. So in the meantime, this is a sort of finished object, very classic. I think I will wear it a lot. I wanted to mention one other thing about blocking. I soak all of my knits in water with wool wash, and then I put them in the washer on just a spin cycle to just spin out the excess water. So no washing, but just the spinning. I was nervous the first couple times I did it, but it works great because basically the garment sticks to the edge of the washer and it's just spinning really, really fast, and it's just using centrifugal force to extract the water. So then when you take it out of the washer, you can lay it flat to dry and it's much quicker to dry. But the other thing I've noticed with the cashmere specifically, because I have another cashmere item that I didn't do that with, and this one feels way softer, and I really think that having it in the spin cycle pulls the fibers out more and gives it that fluffy, soft halo. So I would definitely recommend, if you're washing cashmere, try that spin trick. And I just think it makes it feel a lot softer. So anyway, that's my Maggie cardigan in Cardiff Cashmere. I love it. It is finished for now. I have one more item, which I'm not going to call it a finished object. I think it's more honest to call it a fail and a frog. I didn't even grab it. I think it might be in my car, but I'll insert a photo. Katrine took a couple of photos of me, Veebs, and Elise posing at Woolfest because we were the 3 who were supposed to have these matching berets. And Veebs and Elise both finished their berets and they looked great. And in the photo, I sort of put my partially finished one on my head. So you'll see when I insert the photo just how miserable of a failure it was. If I'm really honest with myself, I never really thought I would wear it. I never really thought I would look good in it. And I think that really demotivated me to work on it. I didn't start until May 19th and Woolfest was on May 24th. And just to be honest, I was prioritizing my Maggie cardigan and also that little woolly Holger sweater. So I just didn't prioritize it properly. I just kind of did a weird partial finish. And then I did try to see if I could stretch it like crazy. I did soak it and then wrap it around like a plate to dry. And then it was still very wet in the morning and also still very small. So it's a major fail. I have no intention of doing anything with it. Like I said, I don't think I would ever wear a beret. So I'm just gonna frog it completely and call it what it is. So that's it for my beret. That's the last you'll be hearing of that. Okay, I have 2 things that I have been actively working on that are progress on whips, and then I have 1 new cast on, but it's barely casted on. And then I want to talk a little bit about plans and about our knit along. The first whip that after Woolfest, I just randomly picked this up and have been motivated to make progress on it. This is my very beautiful DRK Everyday Sweater by Andrea Mowry. I'm making the 3rd size, which I think is a medium. And I'm knitting it in all Spincycle dyed in the wool, which is the sport weight one. And I'm using our shop colorway, Miss Rumphius. So it's a very special sweater and it looks so beautiful. I was inspired by BB of Just Another Knitting Podcast because she also made a DRK Everyday Sweater in Spincycle. I think she used the color, it was a pale purple. I think it was not Valley Girl. I can't remember what color BB used, but anyways, she made one and it looked super pretty. And so I wanted to make one in our shop color. I started this, I've showed it to you before. I started it at the end of January and just, it's been worked on and off amongst all my other projects. But this is it. It might be looking a little small, but I tried it on and it definitely fits very well. I modified the body a little bit. In her original pattern, there's 4 inches of rib, and I didn't want that for mine, so I just knit 2 extra inches of stockinette, and then I only did 2 inches of rib, 2x2 rib, and that's that. So you can just see all the beautiful colors of Miss Rumphius. Oh, this yarn is just too good. It's going to be so pretty, and it's very lightweight because it's a sport weight. And it just feels really, really good. This is the progress on 1 sleeve. So I'm just working through the sleeve pretty quickly. I had started down this sleeve too. I'm just doing a little bit of color management. I'm not going to try to match my sleeves, but I'm just trying to make sure that the colors flow smoothly and that there aren't any hard lines. But that's my progress. And I mean, I've always loved Spincycle. It's one of my favorite yarns. One of the things that is so special about it is the colors, obviously. But knitting an entire garment with just the Spincycle, I also realized that the yarn itself is incredibly lovely. Like it's squishy, it's light, it's hard to explain how it feels, but it's bouncy. I think that would be my main word for it. It's got a bounce to it. And I tried it on the other day and it just feels really good on. So I'm impressed with this yarn. It's not just the beautiful colors, it's also the quality of the yarn that's really lovely. And I've got quite a lot of yarn left, so obviously I just have to knit my sleeves. And I've got quite a bit. I've got all of this left. So again, it's all Miss Rumphius. And I don't think I'll need all of that, but it's nice to have different options of partial skeins so that I can just try to get my colors sort of lined up. So I started this with 7 skeins, so I'm pretty confident I will finish having used less than 7. And yeah, I wanted to whip this out and show it again because I'm pretty confident that next episode it should be finished, because I've just been kind of knitting these sleeves as my easy knitting. I find for me sleeves go quickly. They're just round, 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 especially since I switched to using shorty needles. I have the Chow shorty sets. And I think I knit my sleeves heaps faster now because, I don't know, it's just round and round and round, no obstacles. So that's my DRK Everyday Sweater. Very much enjoying it and should be finished soon, I would imagine. Can't wait to wear it. The other project that I have made some progress on is I picked back up my January socks. So as I've said before, I'm casting on a pair every month this year. I have already finished my February, March, and April socks, but my January ones I was a bit slow on, and I think it's just because I was doing this stitch pattern that was a little different, and I don't know, I just did it slower. But I picked them back up, I finished the first sock and then I cast on the second one. And now that I've made all the decisions on the first one, I think I'll knit the second one a lot quicker. But yeah, basically I have this cute little texture pattern. I'll see if I can show you. I have this cute texture pattern on the foot. The bottom is just stockinette because I like a smooth bottom of the foot. But I have this knit and purl texture on the top of the foot. And then when you get past the heel, you start doing it all the way around the texture. And I was trying these on and I just thought they kind of look good a little bit shorter. I don't know, they're not super short shorties, but they're not as tall as I normally make my socks. They're sort of somewhere in between, and it just seemed to suit the sock. I don't know. And then I did about an inch of just 1x1 ribbing. Then I did a plain round and a loose bind off. I wanted like a tiny bit of a flare. I don't know, they feel a little bit, there's a little bit of a fanciness to them, and I really like how that looks. So I've got these stitch markers in here to mark the places where I do something different, so that it's easy when I do my second sock. I know to stop increasing here, do the pattern until here, then do the heel, then whatever, this many repeats, ribbing, etc. So that's my first one. Oh, I should have said, this is the Ewetopia Wisco sock. And it is a yarn I bought from Rhinebeck at the Ewetopia booth, and Ewetopia, they're from my hometown, Viroqua, Wisconsin. So shout out Ewetopia, shout out Viroqua. Awesome to have yarn from my hometown, which is a very small town in western Wisconsin where I grew up. And they make really beautiful yarn. This is my second one that I've started. And yeah, I think I'll work away on it here and there and hopefully make some progress. This is the yarn. It's just so pretty. Just the variety, the different colors in there. I hope you can see it really well because it's super pretty. So that's my January socks, and they're getting some good progress. I'm trying to kind of keep up with my sock knitting this year. And that brings me to one more project that is a new cast on. So it was May 30th, I think, May 29th. So I knew I only had a couple days left in May. Woolfest was over, and I realized I need to cast on my May socks before May is over. So I barely made any progress, but partly because it was the end of May and I didn't have heaps of time, I thought I'm going to use this DK sock yarn because this will go by much quicker. So I have these two different skeins of DK sock yarn from Bonnie, Union Fibre. They're a little bit different, but they're similar. So this is the first one. It's just kind of moody, and there's some plum in there, neutral. And this one's a little lighter, but there's like a pinky plummy vibe as well. This one I don't have the tag for, but this one I do have the tag. So this one is, yeah, Union DK sock. The color is called Peachy. So I don't remember the color name for the other one, but this lighter one is Peachy. And it's a little more peachy tones with the plum. I might end up just making the whole pair out of this one, depending on if I have enough. I don't know. It was, like I said, it was the end of May, and I realized I've got to cast on now. I have to do my sock for May. So this is all I have so far. Nothing much. I'm doing a 3.25 millimeter needle, magic loop. I've got bamboo because that's all I could find the tips for. And I just started with the toe. I go up to 40 stitches usually for DK weight socks. So that's what I've done here, 40 stitches. And I just kind of paused here because I wasn't sure if I should do a texture pattern or something with the different colors. We'll see. But I'll try not to let that one languish. And since it's the 1st of June, I also am going to need to cast on some June socks very soon. So that's my May socks. Hopefully they will be relatively quick because it's DK weight. And I'm pretty well on track for my pair of socks per month. So that is it for projects. Those are my sort of active whips. As you know, I've got other whips, but if I haven't really made progress on them, then I don't want to necessarily mention them. There is one design that I was working on, which I think I said before that I wasn't going to talk about it yet, and that was a good decision because the colors just didn't end up working out, and I think I'm going to leapfrog that and start again with fresh colors. Okay, I wanted to talk just briefly about Woolfest. It was so much fun. Every year we have so much fun. It's always a busy week for us. I mean, it's busy even before that week because we're doing a lot of planning and getting the right signs printed and, you know, making our lists of what to pack and making sure we're prepped and we've ordered the right things, you know. But then the week leading up to it, we pack things up in the shop in an organized way. We spend Friday setting up. All day Saturday is Woolfest. It's super busy. We get there early. Sunday, we all came back here and we were unpacking and putting things back on shelves. So it was just a super busy week. We did a little giveaway where this is the first year we've done anything like this, but it was super fun. We made these tote bags and they say mobile stash unit on them and they have our logo and they said, I think Auckland Woolfest 2025, something like that, as a little kind of merch memento-y thing. And we ordered 100 of them. So we just said the first 100 people to shop with us gets a free tote bag. Okay, anyway, so many people came and said hi to us at Woolfest. It was so much fun. There was 3 of us at the booth, so we all kind of took turns and there was some time to run around the other barns and say hello to people. It always feels rushed. I always don't feel like I have that much time to run around and say hello, so I definitely didn't have time to go to every single stall and have a look and peruse around. There's too much going on. It's too chaotic, but it was still really lovely. I took a lot of photos of people's projects, people wearing their knitwear, because one of the greatest parts of Woolfest is all the knitters come out and crocheters and spinners, you know, wear some outfit that we've made, some garment that we've made, and just seeing all the beautiful handmade items in the crowd is so fun. So I tried to take pictures of as many people as I could, and we put together a little video that's on the shop Instagram page showing off people's outfits. And there was some spinning demonstrations, some weaving demonstrations, there was sheep shearing. It's just always such a good day. I didn't do much shopping. I bought 0 yarn from Woolfest. So that was pretty unusual for me. I think it's just that I have so much yarn already. And I'm constantly acquiring yarn here at the shop and just in general. So I didn't buy one single skein of yarn while I was there. Partly I think it's also because it is quite overwhelming. I don't feel that I really have time to slowly look at everything. I'm always kind of in a rush, so I really didn't have time to sort of get my mind into shopping mode necessarily. So I didn't buy yarn. I bought one thing, and that is a bag of fiber. And this was just because it was so beautiful. I could not pass it up, even though I don't need more fiber. I have so much fiber at home. I just did a big yarn destash, and I think I need to do a fiber destash as well because I do have too much. But I truly couldn't pass this up. So this is my one and only Woolfest purchase. So I got this from Jumbuck Carding. They call it Jumbuck Jumble. I bought one of these once before from Sharon, and it's only $36 for 600 grams of fiber, which is crazy. So this is Jumbuck. They obviously card wool, and this is called Jumbuck Jumble because they basically mix together leftovers, I think, from all their other wools that they're carding. So there could be a big variety of sheep breeds in here. Polworth, Corriedale, Merino, Romney, who knows what's in here. They jumble it all together. It's a whole bunch of different colors put together. And I think it's just really affordable because it's kind of random like that. But it feels so nice. And basically I could not pass up the colors that are going on in here. So this is the colors. And it all kind of changes. So there's like these goldy pinky bits over here. And then it gets into more like moody purpley bits and greeny bits. I mean, it almost has all the colors of the rainbow in here, but more of an earthy, moody color palette, which is just 100% up my alley. So I hope you can see well. These colors were just so stunning. 600 grams is plenty of fiber for me to spin up a sweater quantity, if that's what I choose to do. Thank you, Sharon. Now, I will say this. I didn't buy any yarn at Woolfest, but I did just buy some yarn last night that I should have bought at Woolfest, so it kind of counts. Mrs. Peacock Yarns, she's one of my favorite. She's a great indie dyer, and she specializes in self-striping yarns. She also does a lot of other beautiful yarns that are not self-striping, but I have historically bought quite a few of her self-striping sock yarns. I've knit at least 2 or 3 pairs of socks out of her self-striping yarns, and I have several more in my stash. It was great to see her, but I just completely forgot to even look at her yarn. But she did have a special color way that she had dyed just before Woolfest, and it was definitely my color palette. It's called Amber Light, and I bought a contrasting mini skein that is meant to sort of match as well, which is sort of like a burnt orange color. So I'll insert a photo of that. So I just bought that on her online shop last night. So I felt like I should mention it because I forgot to buy it at Woolfest, but I would have if I had remembered, and I have since bought it. So that's kind of a Woolfest purchase. I love Cynthia's sock yarns and all of her yarns. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check out her online shop, Mrs. Peacock Yarns. And that's it for me. That's all my Woolfest purchases. There's one last thing I wanted to talk about, which is a big Kiwi Make-along that we're doing. So Marina from Strawberry Patches, she reached out and she originally had the idea to do a Kiwi Make-along celebrating New Zealand made yarns and New Zealand designed patterns. And she reached out to me and a bunch of other New Zealand podcasters to see if we wanted to be involved. So yeah, I said yes, absolutely. So myself and the shop are involved, and I think we have 9 total podcasters who are involved. I'll link them somewhere down below, and we're all involved in kind of co-hosting. And Marina is hosting the Ravelry forum page in her Ravelry group. So I'll link all this stuff below. But you can basically, if you want to participate in this make-along, we're going all winter, June, July, and August. So we're starting today, June 1st, and going all the way to 31st of August. So it is new projects only, so no whips are allowed in this one. You have to cast on a new project just for the make-along, or multiple projects. It's 3 whole months, so I think it's plenty of time to start and finish at least one project, depending on what you're making. And the idea is to just shine a light on all of the sort of fiber arts people here in New Zealand. So the criteria to enter the make-along is it could be knit, it could be crocheted, I think even spinning, felting, really anything goes. And you just have to use either a New Zealand yarn or a New Zealand designer, or you can do both. It doesn't have to be both. And so, yeah, I ended up drawing a logo for the make-along. I don't know, I got all excited and it got my creative juices flowing. So I sketched out a little kiwi bird and a yarn ball, and I'll insert that somewhere. So we have a little logo for the make-along, and then Kat from Broomstitch, she put together some other imagery for us all to use, and it all just came together. And so we've been excited. We're going to offer a prize, at least one prize. All the sponsors, all of the podcasters will offer a prize. We might even reach out to some of our other suppliers and see if there can be more prizes, but I think there will be a lot of prizes. And it's open to anyone in the world, so you can still win a prize if you're overseas. We will ship to you. And yeah, anyone can be involved. I think that's all the rules. It's pretty chill. The point is just to really shine a light on what we've got going on down here in New Zealand. So I've got a couple of plans for the make-along myself. So the first plan is it's a cardigan I've been wanting to make for a little while now. I'll insert a photo. It's called Honeycomb Cardigan by Sedna Yang. And it is a beautiful, just all over cabled kind of a garment. I've been wanting to, for a while, make an overall cabled garment, cardigan or jumper. And this one just, I don't know, it had everything that I liked. So it is a cardigan, and it is it's on a 4.5 millimeter needle at a 22 stitch gauge. So to me, that could work as a DK or worsted weight kind of gauge. So I know from knitting this yarn before that this yarn will work well. But I have some beautiful yarn that has been gifted to me from Zealana Yarns. They are a supplier of us at the shop. We carry their yarn, and they make beautiful possum merino yarns, which are made here in New Zealand. And yeah, they sent me 10 balls of this beautiful Rimu DK. The color I got is Flax. So it's this beautiful brown. It's a lighter brown than I've been knitting a lot of things in like a dark chocolate brown lately. This is definitely a lighter brown. So this yarn is 60% fine New Zealand merino and 40% brush-tail possum. So it's a high possum content. Once you knit it up, it gets a beautiful, beautiful halo from the possum. I've knit in this yarn before. I've made a beanie, and I've also designed my Calypso worsted using this yarn as the main yarn. But yeah, I just have 10 balls of flax. That was the maths I did. Apparently that's all I'm going to need. The original pattern, she uses Biche Bouche, Le Petit Lambswool, which is a fingering weight, and she held 3 strands together. So I took that yarn yardage calculation and divided it by 3 to get the substitution. So I'm hoping this is fine. If it's not, I'll get more yarn. We have it in the shop as well, so I'm not too worried, but I've got 10 balls of that. And yeah, this is my first project that I'm going to make for the make-along. So it's not a New Zealand designer, but it is a beautiful New Zealand wool. I was already planning to make this pattern anyway, and so that's part of why, you know, it fits in great with the make-along because the Zealana is very New Zealand. And I'm going to probably cast that on tonight. I bought the pattern today. I'm kind of got my yarn ready, so I haven't cast on yet, but it is June 1st, so I've been waiting until today, and I think I will probably cast on tonight. So that's my first plan, but we also have, like I said, the knit-along goes for 3 months, or make-along goes for 3 months. So I also took this opportunity to have a browse through Ravelry, and basically I went on Ravelry, I went to advanced search patterns, and then at the bottom, there's all these filters on Ravelry, and at the bottom there's some less used filters, but there's one called designer country. So I just clicked that and I wrote in New Zealand, and so I did basically a search for every single pattern that is designed by someone here in New Zealand, and I had a really good look through, and it was fun to do because I discovered designers I wasn't aware of before. I found patterns I just hadn't seen before, so it was a cool way to do that. And so my first project is obviously not a New Zealand designer, but I definitely want to do a few projects that are from New Zealand designers throughout this process. So I want to briefly mention some of the patterns I found that I might do. The first is a pattern called Scarlet Oak by Elizabeth Niho Niho. Now I was aware of Elizabeth and her designs. I've seen them before. I've never knit one of them before. She's got quite a lot of beautiful garment designs, I think some accessories too. But the Scarlet Oak pattern specifically is a really nice colorwork yoke. I'll insert a photo. And it's in a 4-ply weight yarn. And this is the yarn I might use for it if I make it. So I have this beautiful pack of yarn from Outlaw Yarn, which is a very much lovely New Zealand made yarn. So Deb from Outlaw Yarn, she has like a mini dye house. She's also going to be starting a mini mill, which is very exciting. I chatted with her briefly. I think a lot goes into starting a mill, so who knows when that'll be up and running. But I think it's really cool that Deb is bringing a mini mill. In the meantime, she's got a dye house going on, and she gets this yarn milled in New Zealand as well. So this is Rebel Light, which is 80% merino, 20% New Zealand half-bred, 193 meters per 50 grams. And so it's a beautiful woolen spun, just really nice woolly, soft, lovely wool. So this color is called Precious Heart. It's this deep, deep purple. And I have got 6 of these. And then I bought some other colors for color work. I've got this selection of colors. I just was into the purpley orangey vibe. And so if I make this Scarlet Oak, the main color will be purple. And I think you only need 3 contrasting colors. So I might eliminate this orange, this is called You Seem Familiar. I bought a big one because they didn't have a mini skein in stock. And then I bought mini skeins on these 3. And I've got, if I make that, I might just do these 3. So this is called For 1,000 Years. This one is called Caviar 4-Star. And this one is called 6-Gun Lover. So I might just do those colors in the jumper, and with the purple as the main. So super lovely. I've actually never knit with Rebel Light before, but it's been something I've wanted to knit with for ages. I originally bought it thinking of some kind of a colorwork yoke, but I didn't have a specific plan in mind. But it might just suit that Scarlet Oak pattern really nicely. So that is a maybe on my list. The knit-along will go for 3 months, which means I will have to cast on 3 new pairs of socks during that time. So I'm going to try to do all of those socks with New Zealand yarn. And these are just a few from my stash that are really pretty that I might use. This is Dye Stock Yarn. So Rachel from Dye Stock, she's the dyer behind this yarn. This is 100% superwash merino, but it's a high twist, which is good for socks. And the color is called Prism. It's just really beautiful, very colorful, nice yarn. I also have a couple of, I just talked about Mrs. Peacock. This is another one I have in my stash from Mrs. Peacock that I think I bought years ago, but it's her Steadfast sock, which is the 80/20 merino nylon, and the color is Blossom self-striping. And I do think at home I have a mini skein to go with this, which is the green color. So that's a maybe. And then I've also got a sock set from Katrine, which is just a one-of-a-kind one, but I thought the colors were beautiful. And this is on her machinist base, which I love. It's 70% merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon. It's got some gold bits, and it's just so pretty. And one final shout out option. This is from Little Acorn Yarns, which I've talked about before. Love her colors, Ginny. And this is just a sock set that I bought from her at some point. The base is called Sleek Sock. It's 120 grams, I think, because of the minis. And it's just a really pretty combination of colors, like a brown, mustard, and then a speckly blue. So those are just some of the New Zealand sock yarns that I pulled from my stash. Obviously, I won't be able to knit them all in the next 3 months, but I'll knit probably 3 of them, or 3 of something. Another quick yarn mention. So I was just looking through my stash again last night, and I have this. This is Epic from Prosper Yarn. So Prosper is one of my faves, and this was a one-of-a-kind, but I just thought it was so pretty. There's like teal and maroon, and I don't even know what's in there, but it's such a pretty combo of colors. And then I found in my stash also this yarn. This is from Heather Weir. I think I bought this last year at Woolfest. And the colors, this is a Surrey alpaca fluffy one. The colors are stunning. I bought it with no plan. I just bought it because I thought it was so pretty. But I also put these two together and realized they look like they were made for each other. I mean, they look like someone made them to match. They're perfect. So I don't know exactly what, but I thought I love these colors together. It's super soft. I want it around my neck. So I kind of want to make a mini scarf or cowl, but probably a mini scarf. Now, if all else fails, I'll just make one of my Firebird scarves. I've made loads of those, and that's just my version of a super, super simple small scarf that you can wrap around. I might just make a Firebird scarf, but yeah, I'm excited for the knit along. I hope you will join in. Anyone from anywhere in the world can join in. Like I said, we will ship prizes internationally, and yeah, it's just a chance for us here in New Zealand to sort of take the opportunity to celebrate what we've got here locally, which is really fun. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.